Okay, so we need to talk about Trump's regime, because I know I'm not the only one that's paying attention, and I feel like we're being gaslit in real time. Authoritarian, fascist, dictator, demagogue. We keep hearing all of these words just thrown around. And honestly, at this point, I don't care what words you use, just don't act like this is normal. So let's walk through what we're looking at. We've got a literal immigration death camp in Florida. We all know about Alligator Alcatraz. It's surrounded by swamp, wildlife, razor wire. And yeah, we also know they named it that on purpose. Trump and DeSantis both said that it's supposed to scare people. We've got books being banned, teachers being purged, journalists being watched, and whole agencies being gutted if they won't fall in line. We've got a president who openly threatened to suspend parts of the Constitution. And the response from his voter base is, oh, he's just joking. He's just saying that. He talks all the time. No, he's not. He's doing it. And I'm hearing people say, oh, he's a strong leader. He's just trying to clean things up. He's not a dictator. He's just misunderstood. Y'all, stop. This is what authoritarianism looks like when it comes wearing a flag and holding a Bible upside down. This ain't about Republican versus Democrat anymore. It's about power, who has it, how they keep it, and who they're willing to destroy to hold on to it. I've studied this. We've seen this before. The blueprint has not changed. I tried to say this before, but I got silenced by the fucking platform. What's new? They manufacture a crisis. They pick a scapegoat, immigrants, educators, activists. They undermine the press, break the courts, weaponize fear, and then claim that he's the only one that can fix it. That's not leadership. That's not tough love. That's authoritarianism with a bad spray tan and a Truth Social account. And here's the thing I keep coming back to. This country has always had these tendencies, right? Trump didn't invent them. Don't give him that much credit. He's not smart. He's just willing to say the quiet part out loud and act on it without flinching. So if you've got a better word than regime, authoritarianism, or fascist, let me know. Go ahead, say it. Put it in the comments. Expand my vocabulary. But don't just say president like it means what it used to. We can't afford to keep playing semantics while people are being detained in cages, while rights are being rolled back, while history is being erased from classrooms. So yeah, I have to call it what it is. I'd be irresponsible if I didn't. And if you've got your own label, I'm listening. But if you're still trying to tell me that this is normal, then maybe you've gotten too comfortable with the chaos. You need a reality check.
Hey everybody, Nick Roberts. I'm a Gen Z member of the Indianapolis City Council, and I'm going to show you this awesome way that Hoosier Democrats are fighting back. So today we were joined by Secretary Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who did an awesome job speaking about the effects of Republican gerrymandering. There's so many good speakers, and there were thousands of Hoosiers there who were fired up. I was also super glad to talk to Pete beforehand, who's such a great guy. I've always enjoyed all my interactions with Pete over the years, but there are so many people that are fired up, ready to stop Trump's Republican gerrymandering.
What I am about to say puts a target on my back, but in moments like these, where speaking the truth comes with threats of retaliation, we have a moral and ethical duty to speak up. The Trump administration is citing falsified data and straight up lying about political violence in this country and which side of the aisle it comes from. So let's have a real conversation about political violence, because if the stakes are already this high, we might as well speak the truth. Political violence is more than just physical harm. It is the systemic use of force, intimidation, and dehumanization to achieve political goals. Does that sound familiar to you? While this entire country is built on a legacy of political violence, this administration is taking it to a whole new level. When policies are actively crafted to dismiss the needs of the many in the interest of the powerful few, that is violence. Stripping people's life-saving healthcare benefits to give tax breaks to the wealthy is violent. Forcing a victimized young girl to carry a pregnancy to term to please the religious donors in your party is violence. From ICE raids to revoking investments in Black and Hispanic communities, there are endless examples of violence done by this Trump administration. The conversation the Trump administration doesn't want us having is that the culture of dehumanization and desperation that these policies create lay the groundwork for folks to escalate their levels of violence. So if they're going to manipulate this narrative to suit their political ends, I'm going to have the high-risk and honest conversation about the fact that political violence is initiated by a country's leadership and culture long before anyone pulls a trigger.
Why aren't Americans doing nothing? I think you know the answer to that. We are far too comfortable here. That's the problem. After watching what happened to Disney over the past couple days, losing $3.8 billion billion because everyone decided to cancel their subscriptions, that we've proven to ourselves that we can manipulate this narrative with our dollar. The almighty American dollar. But for the most part, most Americans are too afraid to give up their creature comfort. Why stop at Disney, ABC, Hulu? Why stop there? Let's just cancel all of our subscriptions. We keep going back and forth and joking about, how the internet was the worst invention of all time. Streaming services and TV and iPad are ruining our kids' brains and all. Just cancel it all. Find you a local retailer for grocery, find you a local retailer for dry goods and general goods, and then stop spending money everywhere else. In fact, we should just stop spending money unless it's spending locally. I feel like the problem here in America with collective action is the collective part. No one is going to do anything until they see that everyone else is doing it. That's why we sit around and we go, okay, we're going to do Second No King's Day on October 18th. Everybody put it on your calendars. And everyone around the world is like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What are you doing scheduling a protest? Just go. Just get out in the fuck.
It's Anthony here in the park. So, you saw the recent protest at Disneyland and the boycotting, which led to Disney losing $3.8 billion. 3.8 billion. A pretty sum. So, people are getting up, people are standing, and people are fighting for their rights. The First Amendment is non-negotiable in our country. So Trump is trying to control the media, the fifth estate, which is very bad. And when you see a leader trying to control the narrative of the media, sets a bad precedent, because it means that we are heading a really slopey hill. And there is a Maori saying that says, if you must bend, let it be on a steep slope. Yes, if you must bend. So let's not bend to Trump's will. Let's stand against him. Let's stand against corporations that bend to his will.
Why should you come out and join a protest against Donald Trump? If you hate Donald Trump's politics, then you've probably had, politically speaking at least, a really shit summer. And so many of us have come out on the streets time and time again. We have come out on counter-protests against the fascist far right who are terrorising refugees in their asylum seeker accommodation. And we have come out to stand up against the genocide that is being perpetrated against Palestinians in Gaza. I understand that it is exhausting. It can be easy to think, well, what's a demonstration just against Trump the man? But this isn't just against Trump the man. You know that tens of thousands of us are coming out against the far right and against the genocide in Palestine, and the media isn't paying any fucking attention. And the politicians, they're not paying any fucking attention. But on the 17th of September, when Donald Trump lands in the UK, our protest, with the number of people that we get out, the message that we send that day, we will make the front page of every newspaper around the world. We will be at the headline of the bulletins. And that is why we have to come out in our thousands on September 17th. Those messages can be at the heart, at the forefront of the media narrative that day. That can put real pressure on our government. Pressure that we are finding it so difficult to put on them from other ways of mobilising. The 17th of September is a moment for us to put the story of what is happening in Gaza front and centre of the conversation about the relationship between Starmer and Trump.
So I get questions a lot about what is it the Democrats can do to stop Trump on this authoritarian train to hell? Well, there's two main things, and they actually can be pretty effective. First and foremost, and I've seen this from Eric Swalwell, Ted Lieu, and others in the House of Representatives, you need to let the companies out there that are paying bribes to the Trump administration, that are bending the knee like, ABC and others by firing Jimmy Kimmel, you need to let them understand that their economic calculation they're making, that it's better to pay off Trump than it is to fight back and stand up for the First Amendment, is not going to work out the way they think. There is an X factor, that being everything they said, everything they did, every communication they had with Trump, every quid pro quo is going to be discovered, investigated, pulled out, and they will be held accountable 100%. This is the 21st century. This is 2025. Everything you do in this life right now has a huge paper trail behind it. Number two, they should not be funding the government if it's being used to destroy the First Amendment, to declare an entire political party a terrorist organization. I mean, even just look at the closing of USAID. When we had the last shutdown fight, Chuck Schumer went ahead and went along with the Republicans, and they shut down that organization, which is 1% of the budget, and it's going to kill millions of people. That's a scientific fact, and that's been written about and proven in the New York Times and other publications. So those two things. Let people know they're going to be held accountable, both officials and outside companies. And number two, do not fund the government if it's going to be used in the manner that it is right now. So there you go.
Trump supporters aren't going to want to hear this, but they really took Joe Biden for granted, because once they sent this man packing, the money that he had sent at their communities got yanked right back by Donald Trump. And that happened because Donald Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill. And what's even worse is that the MAGA Republicans in the House can't even explain to their own voters why the rug got pulled out from under them. But that's okay, because we're going to name and shame some of them. First up is Rep Malloy from Utah. St. George was set to receive $88 million for I-15, but now gone. Next up is Representative Guthrie from Kentucky. Bowling Green was set to receive $10.2 million in pedestrian safety funding. Not anymore, they're not. Montana, you're up next, because one of your representatives, Ryan Zinke, if you thought you were going to get $63 million for a highway project and $24 million in Missoula, guess again. Next up is Representative Harris from Maryland. There was supposed to be $3.3 million that was going to go to Easton and $1 million for Berlin. That's all gone. And there are a lot more examples like that I could share. But the reason these communities were going to get this money was because Joe Biden signed a bill into law, which was the Inflation Reduction Act. When Donald Trump came in and signed the One Big Beautiful Bill, all that money got pulled back. So I hope there aren't any folks in those communities who are whining now that they're not getting that money, because this is exactly what you voted for. And if there are any folks out there who said something like, well, Joe Biden doesn't speak to the working class, I'm going to leave you with this. The target of the funding clawback is the Neighborhood Access and Equity Grant Program, one of a series of provisions included in former President Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act that seek to use federal dollars to ease long-standing social and economic inequities. It sounds pretty pro-working class to me. If you're a Trump supporter who stayed till the end, first of all, thank you. Secondly, you're in the find out stage now.
They've had enough. Europe, Japan, India, even China, they are done with Trump, and they're ready to retaliate. Trump signed executive orders to impose reciprocal tariffs, which were really just an attempt to intimidate. And nations across the globe were at first willing to discuss the issue. But when it became clear that Trump had no intentions of working with other nations, that he was just demanding one-way deals, then everyone just said no. And then Trump did what Trump does. Trump chickened out and paused the tariffs. And there's much more about tariffs and trade at culturalperspective.com. The EU says it is ready for a deal, but also ready to hit back. Japan reminded Trump it's the biggest job creator in the US, and it won't be bullied. India called agriculture the red line. China warns this relationship only works both ways. The message is clear. Trump must cooperate or make the American people suffer the consequences. Trump is an extreme power seeker archetype. In Hornby's Archetypes, he expects everyone to do what he tells them for the sole reason that he told them, and if not, face retaliation. But what he does not understand is that he doesn't have the power over other nations and is failing yet again. And now the American economy is sinking, the world is uniting against America, the world is moving on, with or without the US.
Oh, where to begin with this one? Donald Trump thinks it's a good idea for the United States to rejoin Great Britain and become part of the Commonwealth. Stay with me on this. It's not satire. It's being reported by The Independent that King Charles is planning on extending an invitation for the United States to rejoin the Commonwealth, and Trump thinks it's a good idea. What I don't think he realizes is that this will not make him king of the United States. It's quite possible he's dim enough to think that is the case. We would actually have King Charles and then King William, which I'm totally open to. Now, I know many of us on the left have often joked and apologized for that whole revolution business several hundred years ago. Please take us back. Please save us. And King Charles may have heard our pleas. Thank you, sir. I do have a few conditions. Well, one mainly. Please require all Commonwealth countries to have some sort of national health care insurance, like the NHS. And then I'm in. God save the king.
So when Trump is destroying our economy, he is destroying our relationship with other countries. Countries that like India, that's our close allies. You saw recently that he bombed Qatar. Yes, he helped Israel bomb Qatar. You saw Mark Rubio in Qatar the other day. we are in a trade war with Europe. Literally Europe. Our G7 members, we are in trade war. And this is pushing countries to BRICS, to alliances with China, countries which we used to go with on smoothly. Canada, Mexico, our neighbors. We are in a trade war with them. People who are strategic allies, people who we could go off well in previous administrations. Now Trump is trying to make America go against them. He is threatening to pull out of NATO. He is threatening to pull out of NATO. It's like almost everything bad happening in this country. You can tie it to Donald Trump. Almost everything bad happening in this country. It's somehow there is something in the air that it's associated with Trump being the president. It's like it is. Trump has literally destroyed our country, and before he gets out of power, we'll have nothing left to save. And if you really are following closely, and I usually warn people, Trump is not the real issue here. Trump is a decoy. The person really controlling Trump, his policies, his ideologies, whatever he's saying. One, Stephen Miller. Number two, the Israeli government. You saw the other day, Israel was in confrontation with China about Beijing housing the Hamas leadership. The next day, Trump in London was saying that they want the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan so as to monitor Chinese nuclear facilities nearby. Get this, one day earlier, an Israeli and a Chinese official, they are arguing about the bombing of Gaza and about the housing of Hamas leadership in Beijing. Then the next day, Trump wants to take Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan so as to monitor China. Do you get anything here? So, Israel is controlling our government, and the Project 2025 leadership is too controlling our government. So, I have to research further to see who is really controlling our government. Project 2025 leadership or Israel? One of them. Trump is a decoy. Trump is not a leader. Trump is no one.